Hi there. So you may or may not know that I've not been fabulous health-wise since December. They told me it was a chest infection, but it could or could not have been COVID. Just because I kept testing negative, they don't know. So one of my journeys so far this year has been about getting myself well, which I'm all about wellness. So to begin with, I just felt under the weather and had no energy, a little bit of brain fog, and just was like, oh, must just be the rush of getting ready for Christmas and everything. In the lead up to Christmas, I didn't really feel horrendous, but I didn't feel fabulous, and then it all went to hell in a handcart from there. And so, yes, I had the chest infection and the horrible cough, and the brain fog was just absolutely epic. So anyone that has brain fog, you get my total sympathy. Same with the fatigue, it's just overwhelming, and the headaches that just come and go, all of which have the hallmarks of long COVID. But as yet, I can't get to the bottom of whether that's what I had. So 2 lots of antibiotics and a ton of home remedies later, I think I'm almost there. Not 100% though, I'm still getting the headaches and the fatigue, and the brain fog comes and goes as well, which is very bizarre. So I wanted to talk to you about the stuff that I've been doing to try and get myself well, because in the UK it's incredibly hard to get a doctor's appointment. I think the one that I've got lined up to see if I've had long COVID, I booked that like 2 weeks ago, so when it actually rolls around it'll be a month after I booked the appointment, which is fine because I'm not desperate, and if it was desperate there's other places I could go. So what have I been doing? So I looked to acupuncture and acupressure, and I ended up having some reflexology because the feet link to all different parts of the body. And my sister-in-law Susie is a reflexologist, and she did a great job of helping get things moving and to help stimulate different parts of the body and to just generally rebalance me. So that was really, really great. So another problem I have is that the respiratory system is still painful. My lungs hurt in the front and the back. So that's something that's, really needing to be sorted out. So one of the things that I've learned that helps with rebooting the respiratory system is the vagus nerve, because the vagus nerve connects to virtually everything in the body. Okay. So one of the things that I do every day, wearing my heart, is to just put the hand over the heart, which is where the vagus nerve is activated. Okay, so the heart chakra. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just giving that part of my system a chance to reboot and activate, which will have an overriding benefit of making me feel peaceful and calm and just generally stimulating the body. So I'm doing that regularly. Okay. I am exercising. I have been for a few runs, but they've not been my best. But even just in the height of the chest infection or COVID, whatever it was, I was just going for power walks because it activates the chest. You really shouldn't do exercise if you're ill from the neck down, because it's not good for you. So the running definitely went on hold until the antibiotics had cleared everything away. But in the meantime, I was walking and doing some power walks. Now, I regularly take vitamin D, as you probably know, but they do recommend you take vitamin C and vitamin D regularly, because the vitamin D is there to boost the immune system and support it. And the vitamin C will fight infection on other levels. Vitamin D is also good for inflammation in the body, and I had a lot of inflammation from the infection. But we can have inflammation just as a result of stress. Okay, also diet. If we eat a lot of processed food, that creates inflammation in the body because it's not actually natural for us to eat it. Now, oddly, I did find out that we shouldn't drink tea and coffee when we've got a chest infection, because it's a diuretic, which means that it makes you go to the bathroom and that dehydrates you. Okay, so you have to replace it with water. So you may as well just drink water in the first place. But I also found out that dairy is not good when you have a chest infection, and gluten isn't either. And interestingly, all three of those things aren't good for you if you've got long COVID. Now, the thing that was easiest for me was the coffee, because I'm not a massive coffee drinker, and to be honest, my taste buds just did not fancy it. They're kind of almost ready for it now, but they're not loving it, okay? Which is fine, I'm okay with that. We don't eat a lot of processed food, so gluten's not too much of an issue, although it is in a couple of things that we eat. But it can also be in your tablets. So if you're on medication, and if you're even on the intolerance spectrum for gluten, because it might not come up as celiac on a blood test, but you might well find that you're within range and your body just doesn't like it. So if you are having an issue, look to your tablets, because your doctor will only prescribe you gluten-free if you specifically ask for it, or if they know you're celiac, okay? The other thing I'm focusing on is my breathing, because by doing the deep breathing, that actually works the lungs and it gets them to kind of reactivate, because when you've got breathing issues, what you'll find is that the lung capacity shrinks, okay? It's like you breathe from the top half of the lung rather than the whole thing. So I'm doing my box breathing, which is breathing in for the count of 3 through the nose, hold it for the count of 3, and then breathe out through the mouth for 3, hold the breath for 3, and then start again, okay? And you can increase that as your lung capacity increases. So try using 5 or try using 7, okay? So another thing that works really, really well is Reiki or energy work. Now, I'm a Reiki master, as you may or may not know, and you may not have a Reiki certificate, but there's plenty of people around who do offer Reiki. And if finances are tight because of the world as it is at the minute, it's always worth seeing if you can do a swapsy with them. So maybe you do Indian head, they do Reiki, or you can do a reading, etc. So, you know, think outside the box, and you might have a friend that wants to do a swapsy session with you. But if not, you can do self-healing. You can call on the angels to come and work with you and just bring in the energy from the spirit world and connect with that. You just literally need to go and sit on the edge of your bed in a comfortable chair, call on the angels, and then just sit and be and let that come to you. Now, another thing that I'm doing is a natural supplement called ashwagandha. Now, you can get that as a tea or a tablet or a tincture. You have to be careful though, because some of the tablets are packed full of fillers and bulkers, and that's not really good for you. So do check the ingredients and see what's in it. So you might find the tea is easier. Now, ashwagandha is Ayurvedic. It's great for helping you get a proper sleep, because my sleep patterns got disrupted by being unwell. Also, it is very good for helping get rid of inflammation in the body, and it supports the immune system. Now, I also take apple cider vinegar with the mother. I take that every morning, diluted in water. So I do, on an ongoing basis, bring things into my diet to help my immune system. I also have juices. See, brain fog's kicking in. I do a juice that's got loads of ginger in, which is great for the immune system and inflammation. It's also got carrots in, which have lots of vitamins, and it's also got apples, which are really good for you. So I make those and I freeze them, and I just have a little bit every day, and so that's building my system up as well. And on top of that, I eat pistachio nuts about an hour before I go to bed. Pistachio nuts have lots of healing benefits. If you don't like pistachios, check out almonds, because they have very similar properties. And pistachios help the body to create melatonin, and melatonin is what helps us sleep. So I'm having those nightly as well. I'm buying the unsalted ones. They're healthier than buying the salted roasted ones, or you can buy raw ones and just roast them yourself with some lemon juice and lime juice, whichever you prefer. Now, the more you can do, the better, okay? It's a bit belt and braces, but as with anything holistic, there isn't a one size fits all. So for instance, you might have reflexology and it doesn't really make any difference, but you might go for acupuncture and you feel amazing and it really rebalances you. So it is a little bit suck it and see. And because of that, I would recommend that you go to psychic fairs and pamper nights and try these treatments for next to nothing. You can get a session of Reiki for like a tenner, an Indian head massage for a tenner. Because if you went to a salon and had a full treatment, they're like 30 quid each. And you know, that soon adds up, only to find out that that particular one doesn't work for you. And so going back to my routine, there are things on there that may not work for you, they may not work for me. But the more layers we add in, the better. So even before I was unwell, I was taking vitamin D, very high strength, every day, even in the middle of summer, because even in the summer, Brits don't get enough vitamin D from the sun exposure. I was already doing the apple cider vinegar every morning, and I was already doing my meditation. So there was a few things in there, but I didn't feel that it hurt to layer up just to help fight everything that's been going on in my body. Now, the reason that I got unwell in the first place is because I had something quite stressful going on in November. And once it was over even, and my body relaxed, it was kind of like wham, in came the chest infection. And that's very common. And I'm sure maybe yourself or people you know have been on holiday, and the second they get on holiday, they get ill. And that's because when they relax, their body can now heal from all the stress that was going on. So I know what triggered this, and I know what I need to do to heal it, and it is healing. I've also been having chats with it to understand what the symptoms are here for, okay? So when I get the brain fatigue, I know that I just need to go and do something that isn't too taxing on my brain, all right? If I'm getting the lung ache, then I know that I just need to sit and go and focus on my breathing. So have a chat with your health conditions, your body, and find out what its purpose is, and then what you can do to take over that job. So really, I know that when the brain fog comes in, I've done too much mentally and I need a bit of a break rather than just carrying on. And so my job is to know when I've done enough before the brain fog kicks in, okay? So I hope that helps for you. I really hope you get something out of the stuff that I've given you. I have shared it with people around me that I know have long COVID, and they certainly seem to be seeing the benefit. And I've talked to people who've got long COVID, and I'm trying some of the stuff that they've said, and again, it's working. So it's always a good idea to share. And obviously, as per usual, check with your doctor before you do anything. So I look forward to being back with you when I'm fit and hale and hearty and able to look at some other stuff for you. In the meantime, I'd love to know your thoughts. So do message me after you've watched this video.